But in the round 17 against Prague, all he needs is a draw. If he draws, he wins the tournament. No one can catch him.
It's that simple.
But will he play for a draw? No.
No.
Of course not.
Look, you've got a 2-point lead. Prague has been, you see the potential. Every time I see Prague's games, you see that this is a player that could easily be a future world champion. I mean, we talk about 2025 being his year. He's won just about everything. Here, he's had a lot of hiccups. He's alternated victories and losses. By the way, a repeat by Magnus on the same ending that he just played.
So
wait a second,
with Duda.
He's not playing for a draw, but also he's playing very safe.
And by the way, no bishop g4, but rather c6 takes d5, the rather conventional move.
So slightly different line. Bishop e6.
I think there must be 1,000 games or more.
Yeah, this is still very much a theoretical line.
Exactly.
Queen
f3, rook b8. They do all kinds of things here as black.
At least in this line, not too many pieces come off that quickly. Because in Magnus' game against Duda, it was like knight versus bishop so quickly, right? All the other minor pieces got traded. Knight b5. I don't think I've seen that before.
I'm kind of much more used to queen f3 and knight e2, especially when the bishop has committed itself to e6, bringing the knight to e2 to f4. Very, very sensible decision. a3 and b4, and very quickly not capturing the pawn. There must be some tricky knight c7 issues with bishop f6. C2,
right?
c3 just to secure the d4 square.
No, he played queen d2. But now after a6, do you just go back to c3?
I guess so.
But wouldn't c3 be easier than putting the knight on d4 beautifully?
Yeah.
But Prague didn't play a6 either. I think we're in a new territory now. This is a new position. Either queen d2 or rook c8 was a novelty.
Okay. Again, I'm still falling back on
c3.
my prejudice of making a secured outpost in the center of the board for the knight. c2, c3. Alternative?
Maybe queen f4?
Queen f4.
It stands out. And on h6, you plan to take on f6.
Yeah, but after bishop f6, queen f6, queen f6, I won't say the pawns are weak. So, okay, finally c2, c3 again. Magnus is just saying, I'm ready to plant my knight in the center.
So now on h6, do you go to e3 or h4? Both good options.
Well, I'm a little bit worried about knight e4,
That was my point, yes.
Yeah. Bishop h4, the knight's in a pin, except it's not an absolute pin. An absolute pin, the knight would be pinning to the king, but knight e4 kind of turns the tables. Who's pinning whom? So
he went bishop e3 to avoid that, and still knight e4 has been played. I'm starting to like black a little bit.
Me too.
I think white knight is not happy on b5. It should already be on d4.
I'm feeling exactly the same way, Nasi.
I don't want to take on e4, but at the same time, do I play queen e1 just to keep everything protected?
It's gross.
It is.
I would not recommend this to friends or foes alike. But could I just take on a7? I mean...
Is your knight not trapped there?
Maybe. You take with the rook?
Yes.
I take on a7.
Bishop e3? Bishop e3. If you take my rook, I have bishop c5 back.
If I take your rook, you have bishop c5. You got... Magnus has not done
let's
this.
Catch up with the players. He played knight d4, and now after bishop c4, I mean, black looks much better. The white square is completely dominated.
Bishop takes e4. This is the game. This is the position I would not want to play as white, as I feel that black's play is too easy.
Too easy, and he can play for f5, f4 ideas.
Spanking, positioning up the bishop with bishop to d3 and going after the c3 pawn also I find very attractive.
Of course, it's very early to say this, but Magnus might lose 2 in a row before winning the event.
You mean our playoff graphic is going to make a comeback?
Too early to tell, but right now, Pragg is much better.
Okay.
There is no denying it. And also on the clock, extra minute and a half.
By the way, the move h3, to my mind, is an indication that Magnus would like to play queen to
But let's stop it, right? F5?
Yes.
F5 looks wonderful. I'm not weakening anything since I'm the only one with the white square bishop.
Exactly.
He didn't play it, bishop d3, allowing queen g4.
I'm playing queen g4 in a
Immediately,
heartbeat.
yes, yes. Magnus coming back into the game a little bit. I think f5 was necessary for black.
Yeah, I was about to say, Magnus is coming back into the game a lot a bit, because if I play the move knight f5 here, you win the pawn on c3. Yay, congratulations. I trade the queenside pawns 4 versus 3 with a knight on e3. Easy, easy draw for Magnus. And Magnus recognized it immediately as usual.
Yes,
He's very, very good at recognizing his chances and opportunities.
Maybe Pragg overestimated his chances in the endgame. He's still better, but it might not be enough to win.
Exactly. Clock times?
2 minutes for Magnus, 3.5 for Pragg.
Well, wait a minute, Pragg.
Yeah, it is a nice time advantage, but this is not a complicated position.
I have alert. I can
You
get
want
a
to go in
bishop.
the opposite color, right?
If I'm trying to draw, you bet. I want to play knight to d5, attack that rook, and attack that bishop so that I could force an opposite color bishop.
I like how Pragg is thinking here.
Well, king h8 or king h7. He had to carefully weigh the
Was
two
there really
squares.
a big difference?
No.
Maybe
But
on
it's
knight
the deep
d5 he can
thought.
take bishop e3. And on knight c3 I have bishop d2. So I'm not letting you get
And
the
then
opposite
after
color
knight
bishops.
takes e4
Take, rook e8.
and f3. You're better, of course. I don't
Yeah,
question,
but
but it's
Shouldn't be enough.
correct. So knight, of course, Pragg can play rook c6, rook b6, but in a bishops of opposite color ending, that is a certain draw. There's just no issues for white anymore. So he's gone for the line that we were just looking at with knight takes.
No, Magnus took on e3. I think that's just a mistake.
Really? Really? Rook takes okay. Wait a minute. Magnus is thinking he's going to play knight b4 or knight f4 and somehow win this pawn?
But I can go rook c4 and I'm not giving that pawn away.
Well, isn't your bishop trap rook c4, knight b4?
Rook d8. I have the other rook.
Rook d1.
And rook d4. I'm keeping that pawn alive.
Holding
Defending
on.
it with everything I've got.
Exactly.
I mean, even this looks good for Pragg as well. Maybe rook c8. Let's bring the other rook.
Okay. F2,
That's your idea.
F3. It's not my idea. I'm just wondering what Magnus seems to be flipping different defensive schemes, and I'm just not sure which one he's going to settle on.
a4. Completely unexpected. You know, we always expect Magnus to make a move on one side, and then he surprises us with a completely different move on the other side.
Now, this is a very practical decision by Pragg. He's saying, look, I'm the one with a light square bishop. I want to make sure that that pawn remains a target throughout the rest of the game.
I just noticed Pragg has an idea on f3. He can play g5 and force you to take on d3.
I don't like what Magnus is doing here. Okay, king h2.
Maybe rook b4?
I'm assuming rook b4, bishop c2, rook b4, bishop c2 ideas.
This is getting more and more dangerous for white.
I mean, all Magnus needs is a draw to clinch first. And Pragg saying, no, you don't. Here we go, rook b4. And Pragg is definitely the one
Playing for a win here, of
playing
course.
for the win.
But we've seen Magnus recover worse positions in this event. So
By the way, he recovered a worse position against Pragg yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Prague was winning the game, and Magnus turned it around in the time scramble.
And he actually won.
And he won.
Yeah.
From desperately trying to hold the draw to winning the game. Prague just...
He is going for that pawn on a4.
And who can blame him? By the way, it just happens that this pawn on g4 also kind of stands out a little bit.
You know,
now, what is the idea?
Before taking on a4, Pragg can just improve his position, right? Bring the king out. Because White's just paralyzed. It's just a waiting game. White is waiting for Black to take on a4, and then we trade the e pawn for a pawn.
Quick question, g5.
g5.
If you move your knight away, then I get to take the pawn for free. If you take, oops.
With a check, yes, that's very unpleasant.
And I'm 2 pawns up. I think g5 might be a winning move.
Pragg played bishop a6. He's not allowing this trade.
With g5, wasn't g5 a winning
I think
move?
you're right, yes, sir. G5 also looked very good.
Not that he's...
I mean, what's funny is that Magnus can lose this game and still win the tournament because I'm hearing that Duda's in trouble. And if Duda's not winning, Magnus is champion already.
Gotcha. So it's kind of backing your way across the finish line, if you will.
So now he's down 2 pawns.
He's lost.
He's completely lost, yes, unless he pulls some magic.
I've been
He's
seeing
capable
it
of
for
it,
years. He's pulled the Magnus
Pragg needs
magic.
to maintain the clock, right? He's ahead. He has.
That is a great relief for Pragg. The pawn on e4 was kind of
weakness.
A weakness that after knight takes e6 and rook e5. But now that he gets a chance to take it, he'll keep the 2 extra pawn advantage. I would take on f3, play bishop b3. Every minor piece loves an anchored square. And the bishop, I would have never have played this.
And we're hearing that Gukash finished the tournament with a win against Fabi. It's always a good thing to finish with a win.
Exactly.
Wow, Saric defeated Duda, and Magnus is our champion, no matter how this ends.
Wow. Wow.
I don't know if he knows it, because he's focused on his game. He's not watching what Duda is doing. And it looks like Magnus is going down, but he'll still win the event with a loss.
It's so clear, though. I mean, I'm not a fan of what Pragg has done. You play a3, I play rook.
Okay, now it's not winning anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
He did pull the magic.
Why?
Incredible. He's saving this.
This is very strange technique by Pragg for me.
And Pragg's looking at the board like, what is happening? How am I not winning this? Yeah, this is like a Zugzwang type of position. Your rook is stuck. You can't improve it. Your king can come out.
But king e2, king f3, king e2, king f3. Looks like a draw.
It's a Zugzwang where White is not in the Zugzwang, right?
Right. And by the way, there was f6. Magnus could have also have played f6 on the previous move.
I think this is just a draw. Pragg can't do anything. He's trying, but there's no way. He just took on e3. Okay.
Clock times?
I can't tell really. I think just 10 seconds or less for both. Yeah, our board is kind of stuck, but let's follow.
It froze because I thought somebody lost on time, and that was why my board wasn't updating. But it's 5 seconds to 5 seconds.
In the current position, check. Yeah, it's a draw, but is it that simple?
I think so.
But Black King is improving.
True.
Maybe King G5. No, you can't do King G5 now.
But White always has King H2.
Right, the waiting move.
Yeah, when needed.
Okay, King E4. 8 seconds for Magnus. 5. Check.
But there is no way he's winning.
I think we caught up on our boards as well.
Yes, my board is good.
Yeah, he's holding. He's defending this very well. Okay, 3 check.
King H2.
Yeah, it's still a draw.
Well, kudos to Prague for forcing Magnus to find some very nice moves there at the end, including King H2.
Yeah,
That was
a lot of only moves. Now they're trading A pawn for the G pawn. It's important for Magnus to not lose that F pawn.
F6 is Magnus's big idea.
He's planning to do, yes.
King F1?
Absolutely crucial.
No.
Wait. It's getting a little tricky. It's still a draw, but yes, he's taking the G7 pawn. Okay, now it's a draw.
Okay.
Wow, what a save. I mean, Prague was so close to winning, but no, Magnus saved it, and he wins the event. Congratulations, Magnus.
Wow, but Prague's decision to allow knight takes e6, that is absolutely confounding. Our congratulations, Magnus.
Deserved win for sure.
Truly impressive. He was 4 points behind after the rapid, closed the gap, and won the event.
There he is, 2025 SuperUnited Rapid Blitz champion, taking home $40,000 and taking away 13 GCT points from the tour players.
Impressive. Again, Magnus, congratulations.
He is the strongest Blitz player in the world for a reason.
Yeah.
He's walking out. He doesn't even look that happy.
I know.
He's like, I won the event, but I'm not happy with how I played.
Right?
These last 2 games.
It looks like he's ready to find somebody to vent his frustrations to. He's like...
Probably his wife or his second are nearby.
Yeah. If I was his second, I'd be taking off. Where's the fire exit?